Good night, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the show. Sorry for having you waiting for that little bit. We were just sorting out some audio issues, but luckily everything is perfect right now. I know, or I assume most of you would know Eckhart is. He is the guy who was a viral sensation on Twitter as well as Facebook because he was picking up the litter that the EFF protesters were throwing on the floor. Before we start with Eckhart, I just want to inform you that as some of you may remember, I had this service on WhatsApp on which you guys could send me your name and your preferred language, and I would send you all the videos that was coming out. This became a full-time job as I got so many numbers, but I restarted the service now because I now have a full-time communications manager. So if you want to be on this group, you're welcome to send your number to this here number that I'm going to show you now. It is, there we go, +2771 567 7162. It seems like everything is sorted out on Eckhart's side. So thank you for joining us, Eckhard. How are you?
Well, thanks to yourself, Willem.
Thank you for coming onto the show.
Big pleasure to be here.
Well, my first question to you is, what were you thinking? What was going through your mind when you were picking up the litter as the EFF was throwing it out and emptying the dustbins all over the university campus?
Well, it was something that started a little bit earlier than the video actually shows. It was about a half an hour long. And then I also thought to myself, you have to finish what you started as well. And also, you do get quite frustrated in such a situation. But the most important was just to stay cool. And I'm glad I could have done that.
Oh, it's actually a very interesting story that your dad told me when I was talking to him now. One would assume that it was one of the AfriForum youth guys that took that video to show the world how bad the EFF acted, but I heard from your dad it was actually the EFF members that took the video in order to humiliate you through that video, and then it all backfired on them.
The ironic thing of the whole story is that there are literally hundreds of these videos circulating, and it's weird that only one has surfaced. And as you heard the story from my father on how that video got on the internet, it is surprising, but it is also easy to understand why they did not want it to come out, because exactly this purpose.
Yeah, well, because they probably knew that it was going to backfire on them, but they were sending this video through all of their private groups, humiliating you. And exactly like Julius Malema said, we are going to make the white people our domestic workers or our maids or whatever he said. I made a video this morning about the Citizen article, which I assumed you read. I think it was quite a bad light that they were trying to paint you with, firstly saying that you were, and this is actually quite laughable, weaponizing this dirt in order to make a statement. It should actually become a meme, the little video with you and your weaponized dirt. And they said that you did all of it out of hatred. So what is your response to that? What exactly happened there, and why do you think that the Citizen tried to smear you like that?
They do understand, and they do know that you do experience emotions in these circumstances. So it is something you have to deal with. But the act itself was not fueled by hatred. It was fueled by this need I had to do something. Just had to do something, and not by hatred. I mean, if I wanted to do something out of hatred, then I would have gotten violent myself. But that is not me. That is not who I aspire to be, and that is not the example I wish to set.
Well, you are lucky that the video surfaced and it went viral, because I know that you are starting an NGO, and a lot of people have, offered to contribute to that. Can you tell us a little bit about that? I saw there's a Facebook page and everything already.
All right, so the NPO that we are trying to get up and running or so is a concept my dad and I came up with last year in around December month, and it's called Start Talking SA. I'm not going to give too much details at this stage in time, but we will definitely be posting all the details on the Facebook page shortly. And the big thing we want to strive through that page is to get South Africa talking on the matters which matter, and just to enforce dialogue and enforce debate so that we can sort out the problems instead of creating more of them.
And I have found this Facebook page already, and I have also found a Back a Buddy page where people can contribute.
Yeah.
Both of them, I put the links in the description. So I would ask the
Thank you.
guys who view this video to please go visit both pages, and to use your social media platforms to also share both pages, so all those people who made the promises can actually contribute.
Yeah. I hope so. The contributions have been coming in. We are still a little bit away from what we believed we would have raised out of this campaign so far, but it's all right. We do appreciate every little bit, and the one fun thing that makes this campaign funny is that we were planning on starting it with our own funds. So we would have started a lot smaller and gradually built up, and the funds that we do get now will just help us to go big from the beginning and do something great all the way.
Well, that's brilliant. I think a lot of people will contribute. I think most people just don't know about it yet. I'm actually going to quickly share my screen again so everyone can see. There we go. This is the Back a Buddy page for Start Talking SA. You can see the URL there, but also the URL is in the description of this YouTube video. So as you see, there's a target, and hopefully we can raise more than the target of 100,000 rand. I'm confident that we'll be able to do that.
Definitely possible.
All right, Eckhard. Also, when the video surfaced, it was mostly the AfriForum members that were making a very big point out of saying this is an AfriForum youth member who did this. Was it a coordinated effort by AfriForum in any way, or did you just do it and you were by chance just a member of AfriForum youth? What happened there?
Yeah. It's definitely the latter. The thing is, I did it for me. I did it because it would make me feel better to know I have done something. And it was not at all an effort that was coordinated by them or so. I do have membership at AfriForum itself, and I am involved with their programs. But no, it was not them who sparked the efforts.
Well, they made quite a point of pointing that out. But yeah, as I said, good to them. You recently had an interview on was it Coffee FM?
Yesterday morning.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any links that people can follow to listen to that? I was actually looking forward to also put in the description, but I couldn't find any links on it.
I shared that specific link on my personal Facebook page. I believe I'm having problems with my privacy settings or so. I've been trying to sort it out. So if you cannot view my Facebook page or anything after 2 years ago, then just send me a friend request. It's the last post I shared there, and then you can go have a listen. But it's quite long, so yeah. But it's worth a listen.
But I'm pretty sure there are quite a few people listening to this podcast right now, or who will listen to this podcast in the future, who would want to listen to the full interview. How long is it about?
I'm not sure if it includes the music or so that was played in between, but I think it was something like half an hour.
Okay, no, that's not long. I've listened to much longer podcasts in my life. So you have this sorry. So you have this idea to start this NPO called Start Talking SA, and you did something that was very courageous, and I think a lot of people were inspired by it. Especially a lot of young people, I think, were inspired by you standing up and taking an action against what most of us can see is a terrible act of vandalism to the university. What can you say to other young people? How do you think we should all get involved in improving the situation in South Africa, and especially on our university campuses? And how are you going to use your NPO to get that message across?
Well, the NPO itself does strive to sort of have the whole country progress together. And as part of the Start Talking SA campaign, we would love to have volunteers come in or so. I mean, absolutely any race, gender, location, the more the merrier. So if you would like to get involved, you can definitely get involved there. Otherwise, on a much more basic level, I really just want to tell everyone that there's always somewhere where you can do something. Just do something. I mean, it's bad that it feels that everyone's telling me that I was trying to prove a point, but the fact of the matter is we all as humans have this intrinsic need to do better, and I really hope we all have that, because because that is what makes the world go forward.
Well, there's of course nothing wrong with you proving a point. I mean, I think it in such, at least to some degree, you were proving a point, and it was a very good point that you were proving. And I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with it if you were, because the point that you were proving came across very, very strongly. The video went viral. I'm even following some politicians from Belgium. Don't ask me why, but I've got contact with them, and I've even seen them sharing the video and even re-uploading it to their own Twitter profiles, saying, "Look what's going on in South Africa." So the message came across very well, and if you were trying to prove a point in the positive sense, I would say it's a very positive thing. You did prove your point. You sent a very strong message to the world to show them, listen, we can build in South Africa. Things are going very, very bad here. And it is because of people who don't want to build. It's because of people who want to break down and who doesn't want to build. But there are some of us who wants to clean up. There's some of us who wants to build this country, and so forth.
That's very true. But I do have to say, I feel the fact that it was not something that I had thought of before the time, and it was just an impulsive thing to just do something better and just take it among yourself. I feel the sincerity of that maybe helped prove the point a little bit more, or just made it seem a little bit more natural, I guess. But yeah, the thing is, if you do say that you were trying to prove a point, then I've realized that a lot of people will try to hammer you on why were you trying to prove a point, and that is the point I get into a political argument with someone. And that's not the case. Is I do not want to have this whole thing become politicized, even though it has already become politicized. I do not want to have.
Whenever the EFF is involved, it's automatically politicized. And AfriForum's hitting back and saying, "Look at this AfriForum member." I mean, just when the video started going viral, it was already politicized because we already had both parties involved there.
I think the ironic thing of it is that even though you do not want it to be political, somehow it still ends up being political. And I think the situation arose, a big part of the situation arose because of political parties being involved in the whole thing, considering that they were part of the protest that was taking place on campus. So it seems unavoidable to try to stay away from politics.
Of course. Tell me, Eckhard, do you feel any regret for doing it? And I don't mean feeling regret for actually doing the act of picking up the litter. I mean feeling regret because of how this whole thing blew up and how you became quite, famous in a few hours. Or are you happy that all of this happened?
I'm glad it's actually given me a lot of opportunities to go further in my own life. And I mean, even this NPO, which we wanted to start last year, given me a great opportunity to pursue that. The act itself, great. It's just how I was raised. So I was raised to do the right thing. And I am very, very happy to see that there are many other people who believe the same thing.
All right, Eckhard, I've actually asked you everything that I wanted to ask you. Do you have some time that we can maybe take some questions from the people viewing?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to ask you guys to quickly or to tag me in a question if you have a question for Eckhard, and then you can answer some questions. How much time do you still have, Eckhard?
No, I'm all right. I'm not on a time restriction.
Oh, you're good. All right.
Yeah,
so tell me, while we wait for the questions to come in, how far are you with the registration of the NPO? Did you hand in the paperwork yet? Was anything approved yet, or how's that going?
Well, we only started putting it together on Tuesday. So at this point, we've just got a Facebook page and the Backer Buddy account. So trying to get that thing running. I will have to go have a look at what the requirements are to be a legally registered non-profit organization. And if we are of a scale that it would be necessary to be registered of that. I'm sorry, I apologize. I'm not completely informed in that regard, but we do want to take care of that as soon as possible.
Yeah, it's quite difficult to register a non-profit company. I think the legal term now is NPC, non-profit company. I actually just registered a company myself, and it took quite a few weeks. And I know that that's a private company, so it's a for-profit company. It should take a lot less, but I know it's very difficult, to do it. Okay, the questions started coming in. Someone asked you, why are you still in South Africa?
I was born here. I live here. I've been out of South Africa, and I feel I belong here. And it's because I live here, and I'm a little bit dependent on my parents. But yeah, the time I do spend in South Africa, I do enjoy.
There's quite a funny question here. Are you going to go into waste management when you're done studying?
Well, I'm studying banking and investment management, so maybe I will be the investor, the majority shareholder of a waste company.
I think that's actually just a joke, but one of the guys actually asked you what you were studying, but you just answered that. Chris Boertzer asks, how long did you continue to pick up the rubbish before you decided to stop it?
Okay, so what happened with the whole thing is it all started about a half an hour before the actual video was recorded, and it started on the whole other side of the bridge. So I started working from a side and kept going on and on and on. And that video itself was recorded right at the end of the incident. The thing that you don't see in the video is the next 20 seconds, what happened after that. Those two ladies had surrounded the dustbin so that I could not use it. To which I picked up the rubble and I walked straight through the crowd and I went to the next dustbin, which was 5 meters away. Yeah,
no, that's quite good.
Yeah.
MJ or Emia asks, do you think AfriForum Youth membership is worth it? Should more of us, become members?
I reckon it cannot do too much harm to be a member and to see what projects they offer. But it is obviously relative to what your interests are and what you want out of it. So I would say go for it. And if you like it, stay with it. If you don't like it, then you can leave it, as with everything.
Of course, yeah. Ladybird asks, have you received any serious backlash from EFF since the video went viral?
I've read the press reports that they have released, and I've seen that Mr. Malema has been very, very active on Twitter to say that he condones the situation. But no personal contact really, other than a girl who came to me today and wanted to talk about the matter in a manner which I was not comfortable with, to which I just left the conversation. But there has definitely been backlash, but it hasn't reached a point where it's so serious that I'm worried yet.
Jason asked, would you consider becoming a political activist since the country is collapsing?
For the past 2 years, I've been telling my friends, I don't want to be in politics, but I'm going to end up in politics. And it seems this was the way I'm going to end up in it. And I know, I don't know, maybe I can have a positive impact in this world. So I would definitely consider it. But the thing is, I'm apolitical. I do not like being affiliated with a specific party or so, because if I do express my support of a certain party, then it means I adopt all their policies to myself. And it is simply not possible to agree with all the policies of a political party.
Well, that's the exact same with myself. When I started this channel, for example, I made a point of being apolitical, and I made a point of not being affiliated with any political party or even organization like AfriForum, for example. But from both sides, like you can say from the right, from AfriForum and other organization sides, and from the left, like the DA and even the far left, the EFF and so forth. The moment you are in the public eye, all these parties start pushing on you from both sides.
That's true.
It sort of forces you to take a political stance. All right, someone asked you, has the university said anything about your actions? Do they support you? Are they keeping quiet on the subject, or how did they react?
Well, the university itself hasn't given me any positive or negative feedback, other than a phone call a few days ago just to ask if I was all right with the whole situation and not any problems after that. To which I just responded and said it's not a problem. I do not carry anything. I said I do not take anything bad away from it. But yeah, they have contacted me in that regard. But yeah, in future, I do actually hope to see that the university might get more involved. Not with me personally or so, but just to regulate the situations a little bit more, because this whole thing arose because of conflict at the university, and had it been handled better there, then maybe I wouldn't even have had to make a video. or have been in a video.
It's quite funny. Someone asked you, why did you violently silence the cry of the poor black victims?
I do not know how to respond to that statement. I seriously don't know how to respond to it. It's if you use physical violence, then you are being violent. If you are being passive, then you are being violent.
Don't give too much thought to it. That's just some of the questions that you are going to get from some
That's
people.
True.
So Alice asks, how old are you now, Eckhard?
I'm 21.
So you're third year, eh? Or
third
fourth?
Year, yeah. Third year.
Third year. I'm sorry I'm laughing because someone just asked how many KFC packets were involved, but I'm not going to say you have to respond to that. Diavia asks, did the EFF heckle you while it happened?
Well, during the incident, if you say they heckled me, I would say there's 2 goals at the bin. That is about as bad as it got. So yeah, I mean that's the most I experienced.
Okay, no, that's good. Eckhard, there's no more questions this side, and you told me before we had this interview that you are in a bit of a pressure for time for academics because of all these things happening, and you don't get too much time to actually focus on your studies.
I think it was just a Thursday thing, but yeah.
So if you want to go on, we can chat about other subjects, but if you don't, you're welcome to make your closing statements.
I'm not bothered. What are your plans further for the show?
Well, we can go on as long as you like. We can talk about other subjects as well if you want to, but then you just have to tell me if there's something else you want to talk about.
Let's save that for the next podcast. Let's keep the people listening. I hope they come and listen.
Perfect. That's a good idea.
All right, perfect stuff.
All right, do you want to make your closing statements then, Eckhard?
Not really too much. Just go like our Facebook page, please. We do love the support, and just do as much good as you can in life.
Just as a final question from my side, how are you going to, or what do you have to say to convince people to contribute to your Backer Body and to your non-profit company?
It's just worth saying that we know we are going to do good with it, and if they want to contribute, they are more than welcome. But if they do not wish to contribute yet, they can have a look and see what we are doing, because I mean, actions speak louder than words. I can spend half an hour telling you about it, and you will still not believe me.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much for coming onto the show, Eckhard. I really appreciate it.
Big pleasure, Willem.
Also, there's a lot of people in the chat, and from my own side as well, we are very proud of you. We are very thankful for what you have done. You have made a very bold and very powerful statement that echoed worldwide, and we are very proud of you for doing that.
Thank you very much, Willem.
All right. Thank you very much for being on the show, and thank you very much for everyone who watched the show. Remember to leave a like and comment and tell me what you think about the situation if you're watching this afterwards. Goodbye to you, and God bless you all.